More breaking news on the Make America Healthy Again front. A new report from Science Tech Daily reads that estimates that up to 95 million Americans may use groundwater with PFAS contamination, largely unregulated in small public systems and private wells. The study suggests enhanced monitoring and treatment to address this persistent health risk. Now, PFAS stands for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, often called forever chemicals, that are highly persistent environmental contaminants linked to adverse environmental and health effects. They're used in many consumer products. These organic pollutants have become ubiquitous in the environment and are routinely found in groundwater and surface water. Well, all I can say is thank goodness Donald Trump won the election, because he just put this guy in charge to clean up messes like this.
Like the frog in the slowly boiling water, we didn't really notice as we got sicker and sicker. We've grown now to accept chronic disease conditions as normal. But now, in 2024, we're finally waking up to this cataclysm, and we're asking ourselves, how in the world did this happen? A big part of it is our diet. Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle.
And joining us now is Mike Dillon. He's the founder of Air Water Healing and an advocate for a clean and safe environment. Mike, it's so great to meet you. I know RFK Jr. has already spoken about getting the fluoride out of the water, right, in public water, but tell us about this PFAS issue, because I'll be honest, I wasn't aware of it previously.
So thank you so much, Emerald, for having me on the show. So one of the things that I want everybody to understand is, while it's great that somebody's finally waking up to the fluoride, which to me was always like, you read the toothpaste and you're like, it says if swallowed, call poison control. But yes, let's put a bunch of this in our water supply and give it to our children and convince everybody at every dental college in America to say, hey, this is what we need to tell people. It's good. And, it's funny because when you go in the chats, all of the RFK people were endorsing it, but everybody that was opposed to him was like, oh, without fluoride, our teeth are going to fall out. And it's like, go look at anybody from, paintings of Alexander Great, go back hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There wasn't people's teeth that were just randomly falling out. So this whole fluoride thing, which, by the way, Grand Rapids got it very, very wrong. That was the first city, I think, in America to ever put fluoride into the water. But these forever chemicals are going to be very, very hard to get rid of, because of the fact that most water, it has a biophotonic memory. So you're talking about not just forever chemicals, but imagine 50% of the women, and I believe it's over 50% of the women in the United States that are between the ages of 18 and 45 are on birth control. So think about all the pharmaceuticals that are going into the water, and these forever chemicals and microplastics that are now being found in the myocardial lining of the heart. Men are finding it in their testicles. And what do you think it's doing to their sperm count, and what it's doing to their not only to the sperm count, but what do you think it's doing to the fertilization of us as American citizens? It's lowering
Probably not good things.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
So what do we do, Mike? Because I do think that, because I've talked quite a bit to some of the people who are involved with Bobby Kennedy's transition team, there's a real fervor, there's a real excitement about the opportunity to actually take on big food, big pharma, and this system that we have that has led to forever chemicals in our water, right?
Correct.
But what does that team do? You made it sound like their efforts might be futile in this respect.
Well, I wouldn't say it's futile, but it's one of those things where if you think in 4 years, any politician is going to be able to change everything. I mean, God literally had to flood the entire earth when it got so bad. And I think that's what we need in the United States, is almost a flood, because every single one of those 3-letter alphabet organizations, they need to be destroyed from the ground up and rebuilt. And you need to put love and empathy back into it and stop looking at profits and start looking at people. Okay, so when you consider all of the things that are in the water, one of the things, and being an inventor and always working on cutting edge technology, everything that we do is open source. So we created not only the best air purifier in the world, but our atmospheric water generator is the first available to where anybody in America can literally put an atmospheric water generator in their kitchen. And God forbid, if there was ever a water supply that would go off, our machine is acting as an air purifier and a dehumidifier. And that is actually making the water out of the thin air. So as long as you have a relative humidity, I'm sorry, Arizona, Nevada, and Iowa, we're still working on something for you guys. But as long as you've got around 30 to 80% humidity in the home, our atmospheric water generator safely takes the moisture out of the air and puts it through a 3-stage filter and 2 UV lights.
Hmm.
But what I want to get back to is I want to show you guys, for me, I think the number one thing to make America healthy is to clean up the air. And if you've seen
Oh,
all of the train derailments, and if you go outside on a sunny
mhm.
day, Emerald, I know that if you grabbed your photo catalog growing up and pictures at grandma's house to see the cloud formation you see today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it and argue, and everybody wants to say, oh, there's these new classifications. What they're spraying in our skies, I think, is more important than the fluoride that's in the water. We breathe 11,000 liters
Hmm.
of air a day, right?
That's a good
So
point.
you can go, I
Mhm.
mean, Jesus fasted for 40 days. I think you and I could probably survive without water for a couple days, but without air, 5 minutes and we're dead.
That's a great
They
point.
obviously know
So
how important the air quality is.
I totally absolutely agree with you on what we see in the sky. I've noted that myself, and I have looked through pictures. I absolutely agree with you. I think that's a conversation that we need. We're going to have. We're out of time, but I want you to come back, and I want to hone more in on that because we were getting ready to before the election. Then the election happened, and we didn't get to. But that, I think that's going to be a topic that might actually get tackled or brought more to public conversation under this administration, the geoengineering. So let's have you back,
Yes.
Mike. In the meantime, to my audience, go to airwaterhealing.com, airwaterhealing.com, where you can buy that product that he mentioned to you. And Mike, I'm sorry we're out of time, but we will get back to you very soon to talk about more of that.
Absolutely. God bless, Emerald. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. I got some great news for this Friday. You always need a new towel set, or at least I do, but I think that's pretty common. So, like I said, good news. Michael Dillon has announced that the six-piece towel set are back in stock. Now, originally they're $69.98. He's actually offering them for, I think, one of the lowest prices I've ever seen him offer them for, $29.98 when you use your promo code TRUTH. Now, he says there's limited quantities available, so you definitely want to go to mypillow.com right now to get your 6-piece towel set for just $29.98 when you use your promo code TRUTH, or you can call the number you see at the bottom of your screen, 800-944-5396. 800-944-5396. Tell them you want to use the promo code TRUTH. Whew, it's been a big week. Lots of news, lots of good news, actually. So revel in that, celebrate in that. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. And that's the absolute truth.